Hi, I'm Agnes. Welcome to my eclectic channel. One thing I've never done so far is to sew a garment from A to Z following a pattern. And today I've decided to take the plunge. The pattern I'm going to be using is the Bette pattern. Last time we pinned the front and side panels of the skirt together. Next, the instructions say to go ahead and stitch that and then come back and join the back pieces. But I'm going to go ahead and join the back pieces right now so I can just go to my machine and do it all. When I go to my machine, another thing I'm going to do is to work. I'm insisting with my overhang stitching. For the armholes and the neckline, I have regrets. Like I should not have done the neckline for the bodice and the armholes. It didn't hurt, but it was unnecessary. But here, these would be exposed seams or under the lining anyway. So I do want to do an overhang stitching here, even though this is not a fabric that frays terribly. So I've pinned it, but wide, so I can run each individual edge through my machine, do an overhang stitching, then I'll go back and I will stitch those two together with a 1.5 centimeter seam. But first, let me attach the back pieces. Those little markers to help line up the pieces are such a lifesaver. I was about to make a mistake and I was about to line the straight line up the straight line. This is where the zipper and the back seam are going to go. I was about to attach this to the side of the skirt, not what I want to do. And I was looking for the notch. I was like, where is it? Yeah, it's on this side. Okay, wrong piece. So apparently my cutting skills are not where they should be. Those pieces are not all the same length, so I have some places where the waistline is higher on one piece than the next, and I have the same thing happening at the hemline. Some pieces are a tad bit longer than others. So before I do my side seams, I do want to correct that, and this is a forgiving design, I hope. So I think if I make those when I make those small corrections at the waistline, at the hemline, I hope it's not gonna like fundamentally change how the skirt hangs or anything. But it does need to be evened out. I've joined all of the skirt pieces. And the last step of joining the skirt is to close the back. And we want to close the back up to, from the hem, and up to the zip notch. Now here's my dilemma. The zip notch has 4 little lines. So I don't know which little line I'm supposed to be using. There's nothing about that in the pattern instructions. So I will mark the lowest and I will stitch up to that point. I'm not going to agonize over this because you can very well seam rip or do a few more stitches even by hand. So not going to agonize it, just stitch up to that point. So I am done joining all the pieces of my skirt. I had a near miss with my cat. She just grabbed onto my skirt fabric and she had her claws, just the index finger nudged in there, and I was trying to get her hand out so that she wouldn't go down the fabric. And I got hurt, but better me than the fabric. It's not that serious. It's a little bit of blood and it's white, so I don't want to get risk it. All right, but at any rate, it's all stitched. What I'm going to do next is going to be some finishing. I'm going to press the seams open and also press the skirt while I'm at it. It is quite wrinkly by now. And I brought out the lining. So for the lining, the instruction was to buy 50 centimeters, which is almost exactly half a yard. It's cut out of a roll that's 150 centimeter wide, the wider fabric. So this is exactly the amount of fabric that they called for. And I can see how this works. The idea is to close the side seam to form this into a tube, and then it will get attached at the waist by working pleats. So I need to make sure that this is a very clean rectangle. I did get it cut at, I got that at Joann's fabric store, so they know how to cut fabric, so it's well done. But I'm still going to double check, make sure it's a perfect rectangle. And I've given a lot of thought to how I wanted to finish the bottom of my lining. And the other worry I have is there's not a lot of room in this lining. You notice that the bottom, yeah, they're both folded in half, but at the bottom, well, maybe that's not what matters. What matters is where the lining ends, but it's still far from how wide the skirt is. So I don't know how poofy we can make this. If you wanted to make it more poofy, I think you would need to cut the lining differently. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and do the finishing work on the skirt. So press the seams open and work an overlock stitching all around the waistline, because the next step is going to be to gather the skirt. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like.